I mean, obviously, I think that fast aggression is something that they play to their strength, and I think that G2 can do it as well. But we're just going to have to see what happens here as we kick things off.
That's right, on Cobble, ladies and gentlemen, for G2, starting off on the CT side, we have Shock's Buddy, RPK, Scream, and Smiths, while for OpTic, or Mixwell, Nafly, Rush, Stanislaw, and Tarek. With looking at this boost, inside drop, Shocks gets the first kill.
It's a nice opening from him. Stanislaw trying to find himself an entry. Now he's found himself at a highway, finds an engagement, trying to take the shot to the man in drop, but Mixwell on the other side. It's he who falls as Shocks hits a ripper, and it's a 5v3 to the favor of the Frenchman.
That is such a good opener right now as they take control of this B-bomb site. And you do have RPK, Scream, and Smiths trying to hold it back, but they're dropping like flies for OG. And their map choice right now, Launders, doesn't seem to start off quite well.
So we had 5 alive, but it was an absolute clinic. At the same time, there were 4 players with a combined health of like 50. So
yeah.
How close OpTic got, I think, was denoted by the fact that they hit headshots and the USPs only coming out ahead because of that extra little bit of damage. So I think that speaks wonders for OpTic, but the way they're going to look at the round was they all lost a duel each, right? So hopefully it doesn't affect their confidence. They're going to move into this round with a force up, and G2 are almost certainly going to be prepared for it. That being said, they've got 4 SMGs, so this could be a good opportunity to steal back the momentum.
We could see that early utility usage over towards the top of Trop to keep those terrorists back, but currently OpTic splitting out 3-2. So they are showing some presence over here towards the A site, trying to draw, of course, the CT presence back over there before they execute forward into the B site. Here they push as Nat finds himself the entry. Into connector, they're going to be splitting onto the A site. Excellently done. His body isolated in the opens, the next to fall. Screen bringing it back with 2 until Tarek trades him out. And it will leave OpTic in a 3 versus 2. Shock still trying to find an angle. He knows the presence is on the site, but he is unknown here. So as the plant does come on forward, he does get himself another frag. Smith to do the same. It's all down to Nap in a 1 versus 2. What would be a fantastic round for them might just be ripped from their dead, cold, clammy fingers. But Nap still inside the closet catches one more. The confirmation on his position, though, does allow for Shocks to think about this defuse. Of course, he doesn't have a kit, but he won't need one because he takes his skull straight off his shoulders, and G2 do find the conversion point.
It looked ugly. We had a bomb plant. The defuse is close, and still a lot of great things to point out about how OpTic played that. They ended up overrunning drop, getting out into the site, and all because of Shocks, they were able to win the round. But still, OpTic able to get a lot of money off of that, and know that G2 have to rebuy and consider how much they're going to be spending.
Exactly, Launders. I mean, it was a Tech 9 buy coming through, a nice pinch coming in from mid side, and also from the connector rather inside A. They've forced 4 rebuys coming in for G2 right now, and this is only normal that you see another full gun round coming in into this round for OpTic Gaming. So let's see. Scream once again playing very aggressively towards long A, and it's going to be Tarek to open it up with the Tech 9. Trying to pre-fire the shot, still trying to clear out the A bomb site, but the rotation already comes through here. There's Shocks watching that drop, so we're still trying to get some momentum, some coverage right now for OpTic Gaming around the map. But looking at that, they're falling back here to retake control of the B bomb site where Smiths and Shocks are currently playing.
It's unfortunate in that situation that Stanislaw does drop and die in that moment because they had that 5v4 advantage, right? We see OpTic now reeling back away from the A site. They're starting to consider their options, and if they have that man advantage, well, it just gives them a bit of an edge. But still, they are grouped up, and they will find a 4 versus 2 if they hit up towards this B site. Smith's trying to find one before he begins to fall back, but he is isolated here. Has support from Shoxy, who sprays away and dies. 2 frags for OpTic in the entry towards the site. Body next to the rock to return some fire here. Damage dealt and 1 frag found, but Nafly trades accordingly, and it's all down to RPK.
RPK on a 3 versus 1 as the bomb is now planted, and they have great positioning for OpTic Gaming. RPK with the pop flash to run out, taken down from the boulder side, and that's Tarek to chime it up with 2 kills in a Tech 9 and the first victory in this half for OpTic Gaming.
Wow, and they had 3 buys in a row, right? They went for armor once again because of the plants, and that was a relatively weak buy overall. They even went 4-4 after Shocks had killed Stanislaw, and you think that's when the plan falls apart. They made the rotate back, and a couple of great coordinated flashes had Smiths full blind at long B plat, and they were able to hit their entries. Now that's one thing that stayed consistent. They're always getting kills, even if they're losing the round, and that's what's really worrying for G2 because they've had a worse buy every single time.
You also can't take away from the teamwork from G2 on that previous round as well. It was a nice pop flash on their side to try to get that shot. And to speak about shot, it's Shocks that opens it up here with an AWP headshot onto Mixwell.
It's a nice opening frag. There is still bits of damage dealt back to the side of G2, but this 5v4 is strong. Of course, consider that 2 of their players are still on pistols. It's big that Shox is the man to step up. He has that rifle. He needs to. And of course, as the analyst desk was talking about, this guy can do everything. And that's an excellent entry frag from him. Of course, you think Smiths is on the team, not holding the op at the moment. Shox going big when he needs to.
So things as they come for a bit here. Nafly, Rush, Stanislaw, and Tarek, the 4 remaining for OpTic Gaming, trying to clear some grounds. Shox was looking for some information, but the Stanislaw was in a great corner to not get spotted. The rest, Rush has taken control of drop. You can see maybe they're going to try to sell some sort of fake towards A and then converge and plow into B, but you already have 4 players of G2 set up here, right in a tight corner of danger zone of drop.
Body on the receiving end of things, finds himself 1 frag, finds himself a second and nearly a third. But it's 2 frags back for OpTic, so they are still competitive in this round.
Wow.
Nafly finding more as he looks for another and screams to return it, and that's the bomb dropped. A key component now as Stanislaw, outside this door, has to find a way in.
Some great leadership there from Stanislaw is how he wanted to call it. I thought it was going to go towards B, but they decided to jump through the window again. Great job from Body, at least, to hold down the opposition to start. But it's a 1 versus 2 for Stanislaw, moving inside this B-bomb side. He only has 10 seconds left, and Scream is going to backstab him.
Wow, almost really well played from a 2vx situation. And you saw the patience from Stanislaw. He basically checkmated Shox, who had to rotate out of the site, and they ended up splitting it anyway. So played his position perfectly as a lurker. You always have to be aware of how long you can take to push up, and if you go too slowly, sometimes you don't help your teammates, and caught Shox at the exact opportune moment.
Coming into round number 5 now. OpTic, Tech-9s, and Armor. So yet again, a very aggressive purchasing pattern, and they do couple this with utility. So Mixwell to lead the charge over towards the platform. Frag Grenade not going to be dealing any damage, and Shox on the receiving end of affairs tries to find himself the early pick. That's a great flash, but it's not enough to stop Shox. He takes the opening frag. Smiths finds number 2. There's the overwhelming push from Rush, but it's a 2K back from the side of the Frenchman to bring this one down to only Rush. Of course, he does have that op on his back, but he's surrounded at the time being, and the bomb in the open for G2 to hold on to.
Well, at least they've done some damage. He does have an op in hand as well. He's just trying to find some information first, but he's on a 3 versus 1. So he's trying to see where the lurk is coming through, if there's actually anybody on the flank, but he's actually not really watching it. There's already one really close, and that's going to be in the form of Bonnie with the MP9, and they're actually converging in on him. He does have the great shot and the great gun here to actually try to clutch his 3 versus 1. He spotted the first one towards the back of the CT wall. Free fire then. He actually lands the shot, but does not get the kill, and it's going to be now 4-1 in favor of G2.
Now, we casted the heroic match yesterday where OpTic got off to a running start on T side, and the thing is, they're starting here on T once again. We didn't really see their CT get tested, and some of my worries had to do with, Rush's performance and then his important position outside of drop. So if we don't see them put together a really good T side, that's going to be a huge concern, and we've also seen them buy every single round of this game, apart from this one.
Coming into this round with still a few tools to work with. We do have Tech-9, a few upgraded pistols, 1 smoke grenade, but Body traded out. Tarek with an excellent long-range pistol frag starts to push this forward. RPK has to be cautious, as does Scream. Both these players up close and dangerous, and that's a whiff. Shox takes 2, Stan takes 1. We find ourselves down to Tarek, but it's RPK who cleans up Shaw. That was very hectic, though.
And, at a certain point, good damage dealt will only be a consolation prize. At this point, we've got a really strong lead for G2, and the more rounds that OpTic decide to try to hit entries quickly and get shut down, the harder it becomes to do fast strats over and over again. Now, they do have strong defaults where they move slowly. We've seen the rotations be very good as well, but if they're unable to win a round quickly, they don't want to actually just resort to a default. That's going to be a little bit too obvious.
Ooh, going for it again, but a nice pop flash. And actually, that was Body with the AWP to look back. I guess they were playing from the spawn for him to try to get the pick. But meanwhile, you do have RPK trying to get control, very similar to the pistol round where they go for the boost to look up and fully blinded as one of the OpTic players, but at least he's not spotted. Still a 5-on-5. Shox is actually shot down to 40 HP, but you gotta say, this is actually the first real round for OpTic Gaming right now. A lot of force buys happened in the beginning of the game. Now they finally have full AKs to try to overtake what looks to be the B-bomb site to start.
Of course, they have found success in all of the rounds, regardless of their buy-ins. Even in the previous time when they had no armor, still very incredibly close. So they need to keep this up. They have been kind of putting G2 on their back foot, and they do have presence here towards platform. It will be Mixwell entering. 2 players boosted behind the statue. That's going to find them an opening frag. But now they're both isolated. So Jay saves the day till Tarek blindsides them from drop. That's an excellent 3v2, and Stanislaw adds another. Shocks with 11 HP, rounding the corner, predicted as Tarek finds his 3rd frag of the round and body in a 1 versus 2 clutch with all of the pressures upon his shoulder.
All he has right now is the AWP. He does have an incinerator grenade and also the kit, but the footsteps are being heard, even giving away his position by that pre-fight shot. Ooh. He actually lands it onto Mixwell. He's trying to go for a 3rd. It goes right by Mixwell, and he's just trying to get this connection. That clock is ticking on that bomb. They do have a crossfire set up. He gets the headshot to Mixwell, but Tarek comes out for 4K and the trade, and finally OpTic Gaming gets the 2nd one on the board.
Tarek, this was the player that was pivotal on their T side to bring them back, and I think it was in the exact same fashion with a 4K, the 1v2, where he was able to take the bomb to A site. And then that's what reinvigorated OpTic and allowed them to just plow after that round happened. This hole isn't too deep. 5 rounds in a row is really good, 5 rounds in total, but here we have a kind of a mixed buy that's got to favor OpTic, and the ever so rare P90 in the hands of Nafly.
But even they bought down 2-0 for both sides, so this could be a position for reset for either G2 or OpTic Gaming. So very expensive around the previous one for both teams.
Absolutely crucial, and G2 Esports going to be stacking 3 players over here towards the A site. Stanislaw going to be making contact as he catches the man throwing the nade. It's the blind side from RPK. Meanwhile, Rush takes the opportunity to push up from ramp, so they are aware of all these CTs, which means, of course, they could get to the site, but Scream's going to stop at least 1 more. Mixwell with Nafly by his side, at least securing that initial rotation from B. It's Shoxy to peek wide, traded back by Tarek. Only he left standing, and that's just G2 winning individual duels time and time again.
You know, that's when Shox's brain comes into play. We see the setup be the victor, ultimately. 3 people at long A, 1 person, no idea there'd be more than 2, and then getting traded out. And without the information and long A control, they had to succumb to a crossfire as they couldn't come up the A ramp. That means the longer they took, that door smoke's going to wear out, the guy at long's going to be able to hit them crossing, and there's nothing they can do about it. So G2 made a really risky setup early on, playing 3 over at A, something you don't see, and OpTic got called out completely.
So as we mentioned, and now this resets OpTic Gaming. They're on a Tech 9, and they're going full out towards this B-bomb site with Mixwell at the charge. You do have 3 players inside the B side already, and they're dropping 3 simultaneously. RPK.
Damn.
Ooh, getting all those kills.
That was quite a shot. And yeah, they've got a tank at each site. This is a real problem. You know, talent-wise, you could say Heroic are kind of on par with OpTic, but G2, it's just like, not only do they have 5 players, they're a top 5 team, tried and true. You know, they have so many second-place finishes in the last 6 months, whereas this is one of OpTic's only finals, like, ever, right? They have to deal with the fact that not only are they maybe a better team-wise, but individually, they're probably above and beyond with each person.
Still, however, OpTic going to be on the back foot with this one. Again, we do see them opting to deal with the pistols. Not going to be that great of a position, but still they play this one slowly, right? Waiting to see, of course, if G2 using this bolstered confidence, try to take an early aggression, try to go for a peek. Because if you do want to prevent OpTic from playing their game, that's what they can do. At the time being, though, the most aggressive positioning would be Shox here towards platform, while Smiths finds 2 frags. That's the exact opening they needed.
And that was towards that drop zone, and they're still trying to get some information now, and they trade at least 1 kill. They're only on pistols, P250s, no armor, so just trying to get the econ. Main goal as well is to get the bomb plan, but everything is just being well covered by Shox. Actually, he even picks up the op left behind here from body. And that's something that's changing as well, Anders. As we saw Smith's op earlier on here at Northern Arena in Montreal, then Shox picked it up, but we seem to see Body also try to get those picks.
Shox is one of the best op aces of all time in CSGO. No, this really is a man that can do it all. There's no understating that. But what do OpTic need to do here? They have the ability to make it go to the late round. They've gotten the bomb plant multiple times in a row with a worse buy than G2. But after that, it's always a key player like Shox to come in, having great positioning, get the last 2 frags, and always be a thorn in their side. Now, they can't necessarily search for him because he's also very dynamic. We saw him soloing long A with the op last round or round previous, and then also stacking up A with his teammates on another one. So it's going to be hard to find him, and The thing is that OpTic need to make sure they don't get in their heads about the rounds they lost, because a lot of things went well up until the very last few moments.
Tarek just going to be the first one to tumble here, and immediately now they're transitioning into this drop hit, so they're trying to execute forward before G2 Esports can use that 5-man advantage to push themselves into those holding positions. So still they do have 2 players in drop, but what is curious to me is look at the bomb position. It's still back inside of Museum. They have to get this back into their hands, of course, not willing to commit, but Mixwell dying to the 5v3, this is exactly what they had to avoid.
Lots of pitchings towards the A-bomb site for OpTic Gaming, and finally, can this finally work out? Smith's actually a nice flash for him to peek out, but does not connect with the shot. Stanislaw, Rush, and Nafly trying to move in. They even out the score, though, on a 3-3. Nafly opens up towards spammable wall. Quickly traded back by RPK towards the back of the A-bomb site, and it's now a 2-on-1. As Shock still continues to be on fire with the AWP. Nafly, can he clutch this 2 versus 1? The bomb is out of range as he's trying to creep forward. Gets a nice shot onto RPK. Back to a 1 versus 1, and look at that. He's actually running towards B, and Shox is going to hear it. Actually, I wonder if he heard him as well. I think he heard the scope. He's peeking out, misses the shot, and there's 30 seconds left. At least he could run back towards the A-bomb site, but pressure is on right now. As Nafly will get this bomb plant, he has no idea where Shox is going to come out from, where Shox has a better understanding of Nafly following this plant.
Naf has been such an animal thus far in the tournament, and it's a 1v1. He tries to take the initiative, but Shoxy switching out to the AK-47 as he comes through connector will just get the best of him. A valiant effort, give him respects for that, but still, it's Shox.
Yeah.
There it is. We get into another late round situation. Here, Shox is going to defuse the bomb. He also got 3 kills in this round, including the first kill and the second last kill. Like, he's just been such a pain. And both times, and every time, it was from a different position. They didn't just run into him. He went to find them. And he's got the op, and that's so terrifying for OpTic. Now, the craziest part was he made that big rotate over to long B, and that was just to get a new position to hold down A, but it also covered the option of Naf rotating out of the site. I don't know if that's some unconscious decision that he made, but I wouldn't put it past him.
So just very smart, and at the same time, because we've been talking about how Tarek has been playing very well yesterday, continue on today, getting that 4K before getting this second round for OpTic Gaming. But Shox really, as you mentioned here, Launder, is very big thorn on the side of OpTic Gaming, and really it's that control towards that upper B wall as well. They're trying to switch the pace a little bit for OG as they drop inside the danger zone, but it's traded back by RBK. Nice off shot, close range from Shox, back to the 5-7, trying to get some support from his teams, but everybody's falling down from OpTic Gaming. It's a 3-on-2 situation. Screen going long range there from the connector all the way towards Broken Wall. And that is it, 10-2, and these guys are getting dominated. No green wall so far here for OpTic Gaming.
Now, you can get close, and after you have more rounds roll on where you get close, the team you're playing against just gets more resilient, right? It only gets harder, not easier. So it's really important that I think it's already important that they sealed up some of the rounds that they've lost in the past. But I think what's still keeping me having faith in OpTic is that they continually get entries, and we see the aim hasn't been a problem. I mean, Naf almost won that, like 1v2 with 4K all headshots. Tarek had an outstanding round. It's just been hard-fought rounds. G2 are just so, their play is just pristine right now.
Yeah, I'm not convinced that this game is as far apart as the scoreline does say.
It doesn't tell the whole story.
Exactly. So what is also a problem is that those very, very close rounds, the closest of them, were at the beginning of the game when OpTic could have taken that momentum. So still now they're finding close rounds, but it's almost a little too little, a little too late. We are sitting in 13. The max rounds they can find is 5, which is still perfectly fine, but they have to do it here and now. Smith's in the corner, nearly finds the frag, but it's Shox to find the opener and number 2 to boot. Looking to find some more as the T side pushes forward. He's pinned inside the coop, but Naf and Rush create some space here, and a man advantage, make it 2. Scream, 1 versus 3, takes down the first, but it's OpTic Gaming with a 3rd round, despite only playing with sidearms.
Yeah, no problem. They did it fast and it worked. I mean, obviously Smith's doing 90 damage, having the opportunity to maybe get more and not get cleared. You could say that had a factor in it. They also did a great job of neutralizing Shox early in the round, which they've never been able to do. And the trades were just on point. They got G2 rushing in like, oh, let's just try to catch them off guard at this point. So good stuff. I mean, good stuff. And it's stuff that they can do commonly. Like a B rush will almost always work if you pick the right round.
Now this might be possibly the only second time Mixwell has an op in his hand, so can he get something with it? Oh, surprise miss right in the face of Tarek. And now Body chimes in towards this mid side at A. It's going to be now a 5-on-3 situation, and really OpTic Gaming cannot get any control of anything because of the positioning, because of these flashes, because of Shox going to work with the M4.
Every single time we spectated someone new, it was another player from OpTic getting caught off guard. Just like every single person got outplayed individually. I mean, Smith's awareness is 180 in that situation. It can get really hard to hear, even when the flashes go. And I'm surprised I'd even noticed that Tarek was able to make it out long. So now we have a really broken buy for the last round of the half because that's a hard reset. They've bought down to 0. They've gotten up in a couple of Tech 9s. I wouldn't say that they're out of it. G2 themselves don't even have a sniper for themselves. So
that's right.
Who knows how this round's going to play out.
Yep, we've seen them do more with less, but it will be Smiths with some early aggression, spraying wildly with the AK to not only find 1 frag, but take Rush down to 55 points of health. Of course, Rush now disengaging from that situation as well. Doesn't want to be another casualty piled up before OpTic are out of the round because of it. So do we still see OpTic come back? They are positioned down towards lower A. They're going to be using some flashbangs, trying to clear the corner as they do push forward. It's Tarek leading the charge. He spots the man behind the APC, deals great damage as Mixwell drops body. Scream from the back of the site to find 2 headshots, makes that a stop. Still it's traded, and Tarek left standing. Shoxy closes it out, and a lopsided affair as it is 12-3 for the first half of this map.
Yeah, absolutely terrifying. And I am just so stoked to be finally watching Counter-Strike. This is actually sick. And it's just great because, honestly, like it's so lopsided and you think, well, OpTic are going to have a really tough time on CT side, but they have been playing well. It's just G2 are just like that much better every single time.
That's right.
I was going to say, it's not like we're watching bad CS on either side.
Yeah.
It was good Counter-Strike that still ended up managing this 12-3 half, right? Which is something that is, I would say, quite rare to see.
And that's actually the key point right now. Despite these close fights, it's still 12-3 in favor of G2. But I think we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to look at the scoreboard and continue on with the second half here on Cobble between G2 and OpTic Gaming. Messieurs, and it's time to look at the scoreboard here before we move on to the second half. I know, I guess our mics are kind of hot. Oh yeah, 154 ADR for Shox.
What? Is this a pug, dude? Are you kidding me? Dude, Shox was everywhere. He was everywhere. Late round kills, clutch kills. Those 2 clutch kills. So many op kills, opening frags. How many first kills? 8? What? Is that 8 or 6? 6 first kills?
Yep.
Like, okay, we have Smith with 5, which is also a fantastic stat.
That's
but
great.
Nobody else is or 3 or 2. And we're looking at it. We're looking at a stat, and why that's so important is because any tier 1 team, tier 2 even, if they get that first kill, they have like a 70 to 80% chance of winning the round. So the fact that he has 6 rounds to his name, along with Smith's, means that that's what's denoting these victories, right?
Despite that, though, even if they can't get through Shox and they try the other side towards the A, Scream has been an anchor there, an anchor point there as well.
I mean, bringing back that point you just mentioned about the importance of the first frags, that's 13 rounds that G2 in total have the opening frag.
Right.
How do you, find a scoreline because of that?
That means they only blew 1 round that they didn't, so.
Just success rates through the roof. But it will be G2 aggressively pushing out towards the B site. Nafly to respond as he looks for a headshot of his own. He's got Rush to support, but already 3 players in through the drop down. This is actually a weak defense from OpTic as they only put 2 players here. Rush to find the opening frag, traded back by a 2K of the G2 side. Tarek takes down 1 before he is quelled, and Stanislaw now takes his place. It's a 2 versus 2, and both terrorists isolated towards the platform with the bomb on the ground directly in front of them. Now Stanislaw does start to bring this back as he pushes forward through highway. Both the T's now onto the site. This is an open positioning, but there is Stan taking the duel, finds the headshot as the bomb goes down, but it's Shoxy still standing, but not for long. OpTic clearing him off at the site will find the defuse and at least a pistol round to work with.
I mean, you guys know I'm already hard for Stannis. I mean, he's just bored. He's like,
just another day in the office.
Another day at the office, exactly. But I mean, honestly, everything went really well for G2. I mean, including the plant, which is nice, but ultimately they just had such a lack of awareness about drop, and Rush got put in such an awkward spot getting flashed at long with his teammate there. But that's a setup they chose to have. Maybe they thought they were anticipating a little bit more A presence and got punished because of it. But still cleaning up the mess, and clutches win. I mean, those were not clutch kills. Those are the 2v2, but the sentiment is still there. It was still a very clutch situation for Stan to get those kills.
Advantage right now is that they actually had a bomb plan for a G2. This round, though, they're actually going for P250s, a Deagle, and a Glock, no armor. And surprisingly enough, on the other end, though, for OpTic Gaming, they're going for full FAMASs. So they maybe expected some sort of pistol buy or something like that instead of going for submachine guns where they could actually shred down and tear it down with headshots, right? But at this point, I want to know your thoughts, Lawners, of why we're using the FAMASs.
Yeah, so this is a mind game on the part of G2. They haven't bought anything, and this would be like a free round for them to buy, right? They've got a huge lead, and so they know that OpTic are going to overcommit to better guns because of it. So therefore, they avoid the high potential of losing this round, and OpTic are barely going to get any money out of it.
It's Tarek to find the opener. That's a nice little advantage early on for the green wall. G2, though, with some forward positioning inside of drop down, are starting to bring that bomb on over. So we can see them prying, taking a bit of a gander in towards the B site. Tarek still playing platform, ready to receive things. But he does also have one man more on the site. That's Naf playing behind the statue. A deke from Smiths is followed up by a 2K from Nafly, down to 14 points of health in the process, but it will be Smith standing with body by his side. That's big from Smiths, but Mix brings it back. Regardless of the outcome, it's a costly round. The deagle still in hand is just not enough, though, and Mixwell does save it, but an excellent 3K from Smiths.
And again, there was no committal to buying down there, right? They had no plans to win the round. They really want to get a plant. That would have been nice for them, but they are also deciding they can buy here. And now it's actually OpTic to have lost 3 guns that they would have taken happily into a rifle round. So very huge loss for them, and that's really difficult to stomach considering the round differential.
That's right, so you're first seeing 2 rebuys going through. Now they have AKs across the board. Not much utilities to start with, though, for G2. But they do have a few flashes. They want to do a wall of smokes towards this B side, but you could see the beginning of the round. They're set up across the map where they're trying to see if OpTic Gaming are going to try to play aggressively to start to try to see if they could surprise them the same way how Shocks and how Scream have been doing on the CT side. But it seems to be very passive play for OG, with the exception of Mixwell, who tried to peer through those doors and look towards that mid side.
Nafly with high positioning here, but it's read by body. Great.
Nice entry.
Just great game sense. Finds the opening headshot. That was, of course, the only committed B-site player for OpTic. The other 2 currently within drop down and connector, but Tarek rotates in here to receive the push. There are 2 terrorists nearby, but no bombs, so they're not necessarily stuck to the B-site. Mixwell and Tarek take down 2. Shock still with 20 health, looking to find another. He brings it back by 1, and he will still grab the attention of Tarek. The rotation coming in from the CT side. Scream trading back the 1-to-1. It's a 2 versus 2 with utility on all 4 players. Or not anymore.
Well, the bomb is planted at least, and it's 2v2. Mixwell and his teammate now have to come through, and that's going to be Stanislaw. Nice palm flash, fully blinded. It's going to be Scream behind the statue, and Mixwell capitalizes on the kill. Last one now spotted towards the platform of the back. Deep bomb site. Instantly headshotted by Mixwell, who comes in for the defuse. And OpTic Gaming are looking a little bit better now on the CT side.
Did you see how Mixwell was just such a first responder in that situation? Tarek was dead. Tarek was completely wrecked, right? He was by the rock. He had just got spotted with a smoke out, took 70 damage. There was another player crossing site to kill him. Mixwell turned around and dropped and immediately traded that frag. Saved him, and then Tarek got a kill because of it. So if he didn't, even though he got those last 2 kills in the clutch, the key play there was keeping Tarek alive early on.
And at the same time, though, it was a great job by Tarek to stay alive as long as he could behind that rock to give a chance for his teammates to rotate. And it was actually a key kill that he needed to get before he fell down to make it a little bit easier on a 2 versus 2 for a chance for the retake. Now, this means that G2 are going to be on a save with pistols, 2 Tech-9s, a couple of P250s as well. And they seem to be committed with 3 flashes to maybe pop inside this B-bomb site and say hello.
Molotov from Naf, though, will keep those players in drop down at bay. While the platform push is successful, they take down 1. Rush finds a double kill to bring it back, though, and so it is just Scream standing. He's got the P250 and the bomb nearby, looking to deal some more damage, but he is denied. Nafly finds an additional round, and OpTic still looking good.
I'd just like to say we're only within 5 now, so the dream is still alive. This is great. I mean, this is great news if you just happen to be from NA or something like that. No, not me or anything, but it's a good time to be, I think, an OpTic fan in this half so far, the job of doing damage control and keeping their composure. Now, on that round, I wonder, the one thing is, Rush isn't even playing E-Box anymore, and a lot of people are pouring out a drop. So I don't know if that's going to be a problem, if G2 are going to continually abuse it, but they certainly know that they are being given drop, and that's going to be a huge problem. You always have to keep your opponent in check, whether or not you actually want to hold on to something, right? You don't want to make them think they can just drop down here and then think about the rest of the map however they want.
Do have Smiths pushing forward here. Stanislaw ready to receive it, and he does change angles to the moment, finds himself the headshot, tries to get away, and Mixwell peeks wide. That's an excellent little bait and switch coming in from the CTs, and OpTic finding themselves a 5 versus 3 in the first gun round. This is a huge opportunity for them, but can they hold on? Of course, the bomb for the side of G2 still over down towards that hallway of Long A, and then the players inside of Dropdown now need to find a way over there. Body's going to be able to create a bit of space as RPK reels backwards. He will methodically clear out all of these corners because there's a minute to play. They don't need to become overzealous, but Shoxy doesn't check his feet, and Rush takes one for free.
So much lurking around going so far in this map. Now you still have Body in that connector side. You still have Tara going for the big flank. RPK gets the kill, and he's looking back towards there. He comes out with 12 HP. Now, he's creeping out.
Oh
Gets
my God!
Now it's a 2 versus 2, and they can move in slowly towards Long A, but they still have opposition. There's still Rush there with the M4.
Oh, this might actually be a one-on-one. Body misses a key opportunity. This Molly is going to definitely flush his opponent out right into the headshot.
Okay, so Body is going to move forward. He knows where the last clear is at. He's going to go for the pop flash, but turns a little bit too early. Mixwell comes out, not affected by the flash, and saves it here for OG.
You could say Mixwell in so many ways has just been the shocks of this half at least for OpTic, right? He's just been everywhere and he needs to be. Trade frags immediately. I love that cute little play they had along with Stanislaw. That was nice. He had so much confidence in his teammate that he was going to come out that he didn't bother running the stairs.
But the
he
same
just hid
thing,
behind that wall.
It was actually quite interesting. I wonder if there was actually a flash that came through from G2 because they just seemed to went for the white peak without any pop flash to try to clear. So
yeah, that was maybe weird.
Regardless, G2 buying back into the round. They will have 4 AKs, but a stark limitation in utility here as they start to bring themselves towards plat. 5 players pushing forward, 1 to follow the back. Tarek sprays wildly to take down 1, and it's Nap for the 2K. G2 still with 2 men standing, but Mixwell drops another, and it's all down to Shoxy, the man himself, who has been able to find himself into Dropdown. But again, no utility to play with here. He can't pop flash out. He can't break a line of sight. He needs to rely on that deadly, lethal, cold-hearted aim. We know, of course, that he can do it, and this is why he's taking this slowly. He's got a minute to play with, take a breather, and wait for OpTic to overstep their boundaries.
this is also like godlike mode because he only has a Galil to work with as well. But he gets spotted towards danger sign, and that is from Mixwell on the platform. Now shot down to 22, and he leans out, 1 at the boulder, and Rush capitalizes on the kill.
Here we are within 3, and there was, I mean, this is kind of exactly what happened to OpTic, right? A lot of the early rounds ended up being close, a couple of close rounds, but a couple of clutch rounds, but they all went the favor of G2. Well, that's just happened for OpTic here on CT side, and this was an untested side. You know, they might have picked this map because they were on fire yesterday. Not even necessarily the best map that they could have chosen, but yeah, our man Naf, dude, 122 ADR, that is above excellent.
Sorry, Lunders, where's he from again?
Canada.
Oh, right.
No bias.
Nav, big plays for him, obviously. And on the other side, you do have Shoxy leading it for G2. But when the scoreboard does come back up, take a look at it, because what's interesting to know is that the kill differential between all the players on OpTic as opposed to all the players on G2 is much more different. Shoxy's really trying to lead the charge here, but his team isn't just as close behind him as Nafly's is his.
Now, pace changing has also been a focal point of G2, excuse me. They're really good at playing their default, just like OpTic tried to do as well, but they are a little bit more seasoned as a team. And I think that that's going to be the next thing to do, is instead of trying to run something quickly and risk having to go for a 2-for-1, they're going to maybe try their default one more time, and instead of just using so many soft lurks, might end up trying to do something together off of a fair bit of map control. But one of their previous rounds where they lost, they did try a default. It's just that everybody got a little bit too aggressive individually.
Well, coming out of this round and coming out of the spawn, it is going to be OpTic Gaming looking to have 2 players committed towards the B side, 1 playing the connector, likely to play behind this pillar, and Shocks and Smiths and Body. Spot 1, but Stanislaw's the first to fall, and Mixwell was there for support, but they're not committing yet. They're going up towards that ramp at mid side. And Tarek takes down RPK. Now Scream down to 6 HP. They're still trying to commit and trying to push down here. Again, seems to be Mixwell, who falls back safely inside the A-bomb site. Has rotation and support as well from his remaining members, teammates of OpTic Gaming. Now they rotate back. They only have one committed player inside of B. And that looks like it's going to be slightly weaker towards the B side, as you still have Tarek that has to watch towards that drop side.
They don't have that much to lose, but it is a half force up. So they're looking to at least do a little bit of damage. They're taking out of their pockets the next round, right? So they want to make this go the distance if it means they have a better opportunity to even just get kills. Getting a bomb plant would be ideal, but they don't need it.
Although they have that M4 on body, and this is what kind of scares me here, right? Because he also has head armor as well. So of course, they've got the flashbang, they've got a smoke grenade here. There are just those very bare bones minimum to set up some sort of play. And of course, if he's able to explode forward, take down a couple more frags, then maybe another player who has full Kevlar also picks up a gun. But speaking of the weapon, it hits the dirt. Mixwell, he will deny body that opportunity, and immediately G2 transition to the push. They close the distance to the APC, but Mixwell's just too damn strong. Takes down 2, leaving only Shocks once again to clutch, and already he's spotted, already he's quelled.
Now we go within 2. We had a pause come out for G2 just before this half force up. They know that they have a plan for right now, and I think they wanted to spend that one just trying to figure out maybe an additional exploit in the setup, because if they are going to move slowly into map control, and typically a place you'd want to do that is over towards A, because there's such a big area and a couple of different choke points that section off the site, and you can go and take those as terrorists pretty easily. On the B site, there's just long B, and that's the only thing that you can do, and so you can kind of go there late after you push CTs off of A, force them to play 2 there. But and we see that forward aggressive control from OpTic over towards A, and a few more people from G2 postured up at B, but it doesn't look like they want to do anything quickly.
That's right, they already have Nafly posted up on the broken wall, and he's going to take down Smith to start. They did also have a boost towards the top of long B, but really, we don't really overcommit from Nafly after the initial kill. But look how Mixwell pushed out aggressively towards that mid side, and that takes a lot of information, because he got the kill onto RPK and give a 2-man lead for OpTic Gaming.
2-man lead, and not a single player for OpTic yet tagged with any damage, but Naf blinded as he had a nade in hand. Luckily for him, Scream also disengages because of it, and it's a follow-up flashbang that allows for Naf here to hit that op shot. Down to 17 points of health goes Scream. Obviously, Naf tagged in the engagement himself, but neither player dying does still leave this in OpTic's hands. G2 still grouping up 2 players towards the drop down, but what's notable, of course, is that Shoxy, he's on the other side of the map.
That's crazy how he's going to have to try to play this on his own, unless they try to pinch in and take control of connector, rather. Yeah. And they're going to have to come up against Mixwell at that spot, a key player again for OpTic Gaming on that half.
One common strategy is just have 2 soft lurks, and if you do get a kill as one or the other, then the other person is offered up a free kill themselves, and suddenly a man advantage is depleted. But whoa, that was heads on body. Gets traded out by Rush, and so it's not so dangerous for OpTic, even though it was a bit tricky.
I was going to say, that was a key kill to force a rotation back towards the B side, but it was a great job by Stanislaw to watch that flank turn around, but he lost that fight, so they gave a chance for a plant for Shocks. Scream and Shocks, both at very low HP, up against very healthy Mixwell and Rush, but no nades coming through. They're going for the body peek. Shocks gets the headshot onto Mixwell. Can Rush win this one under 2v1? His teammate right now for G2, has already rotated back towards long, and that's going to be Scream. Moving in with AK-47.
Oh my God.
They win this one.
Serious?
A 4-on-2.
He just pre-fired that. Wow, that was incredible. Like 17 HP. They both know he's on default. That's not the greatest plant to sit on, right? It's a very close-up angle. You can only be so far in. And still Shocks wins both those duels. But that's exactly what I was talking about. Even though Body got traded out, it was 3v4. Even though Body got traded out, he got that first kill, and then Shocks moved up long A and got a kill for himself too. So it was all in the plan for G2. They now extend their lead by 1, and OpTic Gaming don't actually have that much money even after all of that streak.
Leaving only Mixwell sitting on that 5-7. Does have 2 flashbangs to couple with it, but that's really not much here, all things considered. Of course, G2 once again spreading themselves slowly, seeing, of course, if OpTic try to take some kind of an aggressive initiative, but as of yet, no team wanting to risk that. They know, of course, how much this means, but again, a single round lost on the side of OpTic, and immediately that economic difficulty comes through. So it just goes to show how close this half has been, similarly to the first.
We're looking at match point, basically, if OpTic lose this round. They're buying up. We can see they don't have as much as they want, and they just got reset, so they're fortunate to be able to buy. alone in this situation. Now, they want to deplete the utility of G2 without using too much of their own, and that's going not so bad. I mean, Nafly has a smoke. They've got a couple of grenades for damage, but they haven't identified what G2 are going to do. Smokes come out, but here's a stack.
That's right. It's going to be Mixwell and Stanislaus. Stanislaus, the first point of contact. Oh, that's an NA right there. The crossbar comes through. Mixwell only connects with one, unfortunately, there. But Rush fully blinded. Well, G2's fully blinded. He peeks out, gets 2 kills with help from Nafly. Now it's a 3-on-2. Make that a 3-on-1. Body has already lurked from the connector side. He's inside the shack, I guess. And he's going to come up on a 3v1. That bomb is down. There's only 20 seconds left to work with. And he's going to have a lot big feet and a large steep hill to climb. Finding my words here, but Rush is going to capitalize on the kill, and it's going to be 13-11 with OpTic Gaming staying alive.
What a round from our boy Rush, huh? Just being that turret on the site, and after his teammates, they had that really ideal call. I mean, ideal in a sense where they made that pistol useful. Right, he got 1 kill, but Nafly missing that nade. It's like, okay, this is when it gets really ugly. But then Rush just sitting there, switching between targets, making a sequence out of it, and getting all those kills. Everyone equally important, by the way. If he dies that last one, they give up sight and potentially a plant.
G2 know, of course, their back is against the ropes. They come in with a force buy of their own. Shoxy playing that glass cannon, and the only other rifle will be in the hands of Scream, the deadly dynamic duo, as they also have their teammates put on some pistols. Utility here is present, and everybody starting to congregate over towards the B site. On the receiving end of affairs, we've got Tarek and Naf, both players sitting behind the statue. They could go for the boost, they could wait for the drop. They've got a manning connector allocated to it, but look at this. The stack is just so damn ready. The smoke, though, does it buy time? Yes, it does. G2 just going to hold on and wait.
Oh, that smoke is just a call out. And as G2, you're like, all right, 5, 4, 3, smoke. And then you're just like reset, play smoke strike for another 15 seconds. But they don't have any other strategy right now. They just want to go and do this. But they can feel confident that OpTic probably aren't going to get too aggressive in this situation. Their main problem is that 2 people are almost dedicated long B, just like they have been. It actually works better versus drop. Tarek gets the first and second kill.
Gets a lot of damage on the Scream as well as Nafly capitalizes another kill on this miss. RPK is going to be the last man standing. 4 versus 1 as he gets the first one, trying to connect on the second, but he gets stopped instantly by Mixwell, and we are now 1 round away of tying up this first map on Cobble.
I can't believe what I'm seeing. Honestly, this is an insane comeback. We had this untested waters how well they do on CT side. We see them on their side that they're supposed to be nuts at, losing 12 rounds, right? And G2, and the fact that they were playing well and G2 were still besting them every step of the way. But they're pretty much similar in so many regards, like the pacing that they're using, the tempo at which they're playing. There's a lot of similarities to be drawn, a lot of correlation between these 2 teams. And now G2 have to basically forfeit their lead and allow OpTic to get to 13. It's just going to be OpTic's goal now to make sure they don't lose anybody.
Good opportunity for OpTic as well to make a bit of cash flow as they do pick up 2 of those umps and hold on to 2 primaries from their opponents. It's stand to find 2. Again, just unarmored opponents walking straight to the meat grinder. Scream to bring it back by 1, and Smith's denied as he comes out long. Body with a frag thrown to the door. Will Body with the frag leaves only 2 left standing. It's Naf and Tarek. My God, what an arm on this guy.
Everyone can appreciate that.
Not 1, but 2. You don't usually see those. That was awesome there from Body. But he's still lurking around now. Still has a minute to work with. So still plenty of time. Has the bomb on his back up against Nafly and Tarek. And even at that point, smart play here from Body is wasting that clock. And that forces now one-on-one engagements. Yeah,
that's exactly what he wants to do, right? He wants them to split up and get as far apart as possible, because this is a map where if you do play 2 on site and allow them to pick a site and you're at the wrong place, they can just get such a great position, make it a 1v1, guarantee the round. And even though Body doesn't have a lot of health, this is just all he needs to do. So now he's created suspicion that he might be going B, is moving up into the A site, doesn't know if one is deady here, and is running out of time to clear everything. We also kind of have a locked-in position, however, so at a certain point, he's going to have to go ahead and clear this, and we don't know if he's going to win the duel. He's aware. He's looking for the headshot, but Naf a little bit too quick.
Peeks wide, feels the presence, finds himself that headshot. That's a really big moment for him, actually, because obviously if he takes down that man in the back of the site, then the bomb plant also comes on through. The retake, of course, you know if the present isn't there, that it's going to be coming on from the rotation. Limited avenues of pursuit as well for that rotator. It was just going to be a difficult spot. And now, somehow, some way, it is tied at 13 all.
1 round has been won by G2 in this half. Like, just think about that. and it's tied up. But yeah, like he was in a tough spot, and that's the reason we saw body weighting, just to separate them, and it did come close. But we don't see that alternate reality where body gets the bomb plant in a favorable 1v1.
And in this round, I mean, we don't even have an AWP again for G2, so that's going to be a tough one right there. You don't have an impact player like Shox that could try to get some openings, so you're going to have to play with these executes. The thing that's good now for G2 is that they have at least a lot of flashes to get those executes going, but they're playing very passively to start.
Speaking of those nades, of course, this is the first time they've expended them, so they do get OpTic to waste some of theirs, or at least get them out of the way before they respond with their own. They are now left with still 2 smokes and 3 flashbangs. The bomb rotating back towards Museum, and Body and Shox look like they want to entry down into drop down. Of course, they see that there's no presence inside of it, which means that any CTs have to be sitting either outside of the window or over towards the B site, and they're looking to split to capitalize. Nap, however, standing on the stairwell to find a headshot, make it 2. Switches to the 5-7, but it's just too much. Tarek to respond with one of his own, and Smith's on a 2K for the G2 side. Now, of course, health low for 3 players in this server right here, right now. The smoke going down does allow Smiths an avenue of exit, but Mixwell already rotating forward. That's a big nade.
Well, Mixwell now fully blinded, looking for Stanislaw, who's right next to him, waiting for the smoke to dissipate as well to see if Smith is going to engage first. And he's staying behind that statue, peeks out, Mixwell misses the op shot, and he misses the spray. That clock is ticking down. No more utilities right now for the CT side, but it's still Mixwell that decides to pick up the M4, drops the first. Now Shox coming through, but it's traded up by Stanislaw, and now OpTic Gaming will come in for the defuse and take the lead in this game, 14-13.
What a critical moment. That clock was ticking down too, and Shox had him dead to rights. 17 HP, he gets up on there, hits his first bullet, and that emo haircut never looked more emo.
It's crazy to think, of course, that G2 were sitting at 12-3, and now OpTic are in the lead of this game. Not only that, but with G2 coming into this one, bottoming out their economy. If OpTic Gaming find 15 in this round, then G2 will have a difficult time bouncing back with this. This is looking really good for OpTic. Of course, they're holding onto that op as well. Mixwell with his hands on it. 4 M4s to boot. Lots of utility. What do you see here, Londers?
No utility for G2. I mean, this is a situation where you could grab 2 Tech 9s, get everybody, have a bunch of resources. Body's got 1 smoke, no flash to accompany it, no nades to do damage. They're going to push up really dry. Mixwell gets the first kill, and Stanislaw's going to have another time to get a couple at long. Has done 190 damage, but also his job.
Look how quickly, though, this rotation comes through. Not to mention Body on 6 HP, so it's going to have to be up to Shox and the rest of the team to find some frags. They do. Tarek, however, to drop the bomb in the open. They can play off of this. Although it is still only the 2v2, this could go either way still. Remember, Body, Tag, Scream. He's going to have to try and create some space because Body's life is really not reliable here. Nafly holding on to the second smoke as Tarek has one of his own, but also the Molotov. They can use that if the time starts to tick down to deny him picking the bomb. Tarek finds the headshot, but Scream trades it back. Both players 100 health. Both players pushing forward. Scream to find the headshot. G2 are not just out as of yet.
Damn, this is sick. 14-14, 2 clutch rounds to bring it there. And who knows where the economy is at right now. We had G2 decide to go just full headshots. They were like, we're gonna do this dry. We know they like to take fights, and we're better than them. And they made it work.
And even on top of that, they only had 1 smoke to work with, and Body kept it long enough to actually smoke out the connector side. And even at this point, when you're looking at it, I see you gasping right here, Lawners, because it looks like we're just gambling or really playing for the tie, or if we're going for the force buy. It depends how much money was remaining after this buy from OpTic Gaming. Oh yeah, it's pretty low, so this is going to be a tough one.
Yeah, both teams have nothing right now. I mean, this is actually a good it's a good opportunity for OpTic. They've actually got like some utility to delay. Like, I don't think pistols means you're out of it, not in CSGO. So G2 know this as well, that even though OpTic are broke, there's a high chance they're going to be buying. And they're expending some resources just to try to get long A control. And they've started to move up. Stan's playing the same position as he was last round. It's actually completely fine allowing his left side to be open. I'm not sure if he threw a smoke or not, but now drop is being aggressed upon.
Even at this point, they also don't have any kits for OpTic Gaming. You see how they're pushing aggressively towards down the staircase at the mid side as well. They're really trying to converge and get a lot of information as much as they can, and it seems to be towards B. A little bit of a body bump and a headshot then from Shox onto Rush. And then they open up the site. Naflife falls in the back of the platform, and all 5 of them execute inside the site for G2, and they will get the plant. Shox still going to work as they try to pop flash for OpTic Gaming to take control of the danger zone. It is going to get denied, and things are looking grim for OpTic Gaming moving into this round.
Mixwell really wants this fight. I mean, it almost doesn't matter, though. Shox just tallying them up. How many kills does he have? We're at 29. Everybody dies on OpTic. They also spent down because they were gambling on making sure they won that round. When in real, and the reason is it's not an early buy, it's not a tilt buy. If they went on to this next round, they still have no money. They got reset, right? So that was pretty much one of the best opportunities they could have to just close it out.
OpTic Gaming, they have to force into this. They need to buy everything that they can, but the first map going to round number 30.
35 kills for Shox.
Oh, it's insane. Pistols, flashes, that's all they have to work with. Some bits of Kevlar. G2 trying to find some presence, spamming away through the smoke, trying to keep them back here. But OpTic, I mean, your hands are tied.
Still winnable at this point, though. As Wanderers mentioned, these pistols could be deadly, and it starts with Naflife trying to go with his pre-fire shots with that deagle from the platform of B through the smoke at the entrance of Long. Meanwhile, though, G2 are trying to take control of this mid side, where they actually have a couple of players really close by here for OpTic Gaming. That starts with Mixwell. Moving up forward with Stanislaw as well, but still it's going to stay calm. There's 1:08 on the clock, and G2 are actually waiting for OpTic Gaming to make the first mistake.
Oh, this is sick, man. This is one of the sickest first maps of a final I've seen in a long time. It's come down to a lot of clutch rounds. I think a lot of similarities, right? There's been so much symmetry between these teams, and I think that's a huge reason we're in round 30 now. No, Shox just in God mode, and this is one of the maps that he was actually in God mode in at Starlighter when they had a second place finish. Or I think he had like 36 kills or something like that. Go and drop every single round.
Rush is going to have to be careful here as there are terrorists pushing forward. He tries to find the headshot, but body prevails. Now we have G2 executing forward, but the CT's hot on their heels. Tarek to buy a little bit of time. It's all down to Naf. Mixwell, though, from the flank is dealt with. Stan finds one. Stan finds two. But can he find 2 more? Again, he's sitting on 24 points of health. Both teams standing, and it's G2 Esports to pick up map number 1, despite nearly losing to that fantastic comeback. What a match here tonight to get us started.
Just so sick, man. Just so back and forth, and it's just like gloves were off in that matchup. You know, it's going to be a tough loss because it went the distance. Stamina-wise, at least they only have to play a best of 3 in total.